Intermediate Algebra for Statistics, Graphing Equations in the form y equals mx plus b, and Linear Models. Lesson Objectives: Graph equations in the form y equals mx plus b, find the equation of a linear model, and make predictions. Lesson Objective: We'll begin by a definition. An ordered pair AB is the solution of an equation in x and y if the equation becomes a true statement when A is substituted for x and B is substituted for y. We say AB satisfies the equation. The solution set of an equation is the set of all possible solutions of the equation. And as we'll see in this video, the solution set to an equation that fits the form y equals mx plus b is always going to make a line. Example 1 is 2, 1 a solution to y equals 3x minus 5, and number 2 is 4, 9 a solution to y equals 3x minus 5. So we'll begin by substituting 2 for x and 1 for y in the equation, and we want to see, does the left hand side equal the right hand side? Is it a true statement? So we start with the original equation. We substitute our values in, 2 for x and 1 for y. Following the order of operation, this becomes 6 minus 5. So the right hand side becomes 1. The left hand side is 1. So we have a true statement, which means that 2, 1 is a solution to the equation y equals 3x minus 5. Number 2, when we substitute 4 for x and 9 for y, we have 9 equals 3 times 4 minus 5. Following the order of operations, we have to multiply, then subtract, and on the right hand side we're left with 12 minus 5, which is 7. That does not equal the left hand side, which is 9. So this is a false statement. So 4, 9 is not a solution to y equals 3x minus 5. Next definition: a graph of an equation in two variables, normally we'll call those variables x, y, is the set of all points that correspond to all the solutions of the equation. And we'll be looking at many graphs in this class. Example 2, find 5 solutions of y equals 2x minus 1 and plot them on the same coordinate system. So we begin by choosing values. 0, 1, and 2 would be good ones to choose, and we're going to substitute those in for x. So when we do 2 times the x we pick, 0 minus 1, we end up with negative 1. So the solution would be 0, negative 1. If we do that for 1, we get 1, 1. And if we do that for 2, we get a solution of 2, 3. So here we have 3 solutions to the equation y equals 2x minus 1. The order pairs negative 2, negative 5, and negative 1, negative 3 are also solutions. We find those just like we did the previous 3, and we're going to plot these 5 solutions on a graph. So when x is 0, y is negative 1. When x is 1, y is 1. And we see that these 5 solutions will make a straight line. So any equation that's in the form y equals mx plus b, the solution set will always be a straight line. Let's talk about some characteristics of the graph y equals mx plus b. The graph of the equation of the form y equals mx plus b, where m and b are constants, is a line. Now some of you may know that m is what we call the slope, which we'll talk about later in future videos, and b is what we call the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. It is always in this form, 0, comma, whatever your y-intercept is. Example 3, sketch the graph y equals negative 2x plus 3. Also find the y-intercept. Since y equals negative 2x plus 3 is in the form y equals mx plus b, the graph is a line. Although we can sketch a line from as few as 2 points, we plot a third point as a check. If the third point is not on the line with the other 2, then we know we have made a mistake, and at least one of our solutions is not correct. So we're going to pick 3 points or 3 solutions. 0 is always easy to use, and 1 and 2. And if we substitute these values in for y equals negative 2x plus 3, so we have our 3 solutions. And if we plot these points on an xy plane, connect the line, we see that all 3 points are on the same line. So the y-intercept is 0, 3. It's the point that crosses the y-axis. And it also turns out that it's always going to be the same value of our b. In this case, b is 3. So the y-intercept is 3. Example 4. Sketch the graph of y equals 3 over 2x minus 2. Also find the y-intercept. So this is, because this is the form of y equals mx plus b, b in this case is negative 2. Our y-intercept is negative 2, which has the point coordinates 0, negative 2. So again, we pick points for our x, 0, 2, and 4. Now the reason why we're not using a 1 here is because we are dividing by 2, so we want to pick multiples of 2, so that way we don't have fractions. So to get the first one, 3 over 2 times 0 is 0, minus 2 is negative 2. 3 over 2 times 2, the 2's will cancel, and we have 3 minus 2, which is 1. And the last one, when x is 4, we have 3 over 2 times 4. So 2 will divide into 4 2 times, so this becomes 3 times 2, which is 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. Plotting this on the xy coordinate system, we see all 3 points are in a straight line, and we see that the y-intercept is indeed the same value as our b, negative 2. Lesson objective number 2. Example 5. A person earns a starting salary of $32,000 at a company. Each year he receives a $2,000 raise. Let S be the person's salary in thousands of dollars, that's the units, after he's worked at the company for T years. So we have 2 variables, S and T. T is the independent variable, and S is the dependent. And the reason why that is S salary depends upon how many years. So number 1, we'll use a table to help us find the equation for S and T. Number 2, we'll substitute 8 in for T in the equation. What does this mean in this situation? Number 3, we'll graph the equation. Number 4, we'll find the S-intercept and explain what it means in the situation. Number 5, we will use the equation to find out when will the salary be $42,000. Let's begin with number 1. We'll begin with the table. Again, T is our independent, S is our dependent. So when we begin with T being equal to 0, that's when the person first starts the job. We have initial value of $32,000, and since our units are thousands of dollars, S will be 32. When T is 1, the salary will increase 2,000, and then we add that to our base of 32,000, so this becomes 34,000. S is equal to 34. Next year we add another 2,000. Next year we add another 2,000. And the pattern here is 2 times the number of years plus 32. So if we talk about T years, our equation will be S equals 2T plus 32. When we substitute 8 in for T, we have 2 times 8 plus 32. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 plus 32 is 48. Now what does this mean in this situation? This means the person's salary is $48,000 after he has worked for the company for 8 years. Number 3, if we substitute our values in for S equals 2T plus 32 and plot those corresponding values of S and T, we have 0, 32, 134, and so on. Now if you notice here, we have a little break in our scale. So we have the zigzag, but when X number of years is 0, salary, which is the vertical axis, is 32. And then as the horizontal increases by 1 year, the vertical increases by 2. Number 4, we see that S equals 2t plus 32 is in the form of y equals mx plus b, where b is 32. So the s-intercept, or the y-intercept, is 0, 32. We can also see this from the table. If we were to interpret what this means in this situation, $32,000 is the starting salary at this company. Number 5, so using the graph, when S is 42, we can see that that corresponds to T being 5. So what this means in this situation is in 5 years, the person's salary will be $42,000. Now we could also got this from the equation. We didn't have to use the graph, and we could have substituted in 42 for S and solve for T. We won't do this in this video, but it would be a good idea for you to verify. Thanks for watching.